And now, Freelance Heroism presents Return to Ravenloft.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Freelance Heroism. My name is Dees.
And I'm Rachel.
And before we even get started, we just want to say thank you to everyone out there who donates at the Patreon, in particular those who donate at the producer tier.
Mhm.
Rachel, would you like to let us know who they are?
I would love to. We want to say thank you to Crispy, Nate, Breakmeister, and Rebecca. Thank you so much, everyone.
You help us make a better show for everyone, and we couldn't do without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel,
Dees.
earlier today we were talking about, you sent me a video,
Uh-huh.
like a short video, and I was talking about how people were stealing people's like badge codes. You want to tell a
Yeah.
story of what they were doing?
So I was just scrolling through like shorts videos and these people were talking about how they did this job at like a convention or some I don't know exactly where I was, but it sounded like it was where you go and there are a bunch of booths
Yeah.
and people go there for like work stuff. And the booth was like, "Do you qualify for a free coffee today?" And all you had to do was go up and let them scan your badge, and they would tell you whether or not you qualified for coffee. And so some people would get a coupon to like a local coffee shop, which it turns out was actually worthless.
Yeah.
It was just a way for them to get people to come to their booth and let them scan their badges. And
Which is insane that
I thought
anyone would do that.
it was so simple, and I can see how so many people would happily, like hand their badge over to scan to see if they got a free coffee.
So you might not know this. Well, I mean, you do know this, but
Mhm.
most people might not know this. But I actually went to college, and one of the specialties that I was sort of in IT was I was really into system security.
Mhm.
And so, like, when you think about security, a lot of times you think about the security of, like the actual hardware, right?
Mhm.
Or your software on your network. Or your router or whatever. But you're
Yeah,
not really thinking about the security of the people who work in the office,
right.
which is devastating.
Hmm.
Like, it's way worse. The people are the thing that are going to fuck you, not the machines, right? There are always times where you could be more secure on a machine, but if you asked me right now
Hmm.
to try to break into some company, I would not. My first instinct would not be, let's go check all their hardware and software, right? It would
Right.
be who works at this place,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like the first thing you do is you find out the location, you find out the people, like learn about the people. What time is their lunch break,
Hmm.
right? Where do they go after work for drinks? These are the things that you'd want to profile first,
Yeah.
right? And the
Yeah.
reason is one of the main things for security professionals, they tell you when you leave the office, take your lanyard off,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Take your lanyard off, put it in your fucking bag.
Hmm.
Do not go to lunch with a lanyard around your neck, and people do it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
All that tells me is I know exactly where you work,
Yeah.
right?
I will say anytime I leave work, whether it's like I'm going to grab lunch, I'm running an errand, I'm going home for the day, I take off my lanyard before I even leave the building. Not because I have safety in mind, but because I don't want to forget and I don't want people to know where I work.
Right. But see, that's actually a very secure thing to do, right?
Hmm.
Take off your lanyard. Don't volunteer information,
Hmm.
right? One of the weak points, um, in any business, like security wise, is the person who answers the phones. That is like, if they're weak, then the whole security's weak, right?
Yeah.
If you can go in and ask them a question and they give you the information you're looking for, right? If they're friendly and they try to give you a bunch of information and
Hmm.
they're not trained properly to not divulge certain things,
Yeah.
they can really screw you up, right?
Yeah.
So like they can tell you who's in the office, who's not in the office, what day they'll
Hmm.
be back. Oh, they're out on a trip.
Yeah.
This tells you all kinds of things, right?
Hmm.
So like that's the human element is the weakest link almost exclusively,
Yeah.
right?
No, I've had patrons, because I work at the library,
Yeah.
I've had patrons call, ask for specific people who work there. Maybe they've been working with that librarian on something else. And I might have to say, I'm not sure if they're in. I'll transfer you to their voicemail. And they'll call back and they're like, well, are they in today? What time will they be back?
Absolutely
Are they?
not.
And I'll say, I'm not going to tell you their schedule. You can leave them a
Yep.
message and they can call you back when they're back. And if they want to tell you their schedule, they can, but I am not going to tell you
Right.
somebody else's schedule.
Right. And there's a lot of reasons for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons you don't want to tell somebody who's in the office, what time they come on shift,
Hmm.
not just the business security, but also the security of that person,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
don't know that you're talking to a stalker or
Right.
a person who wants to kidnap them or,
Hmm.
a person who doesn't have custody of their kids is now like, oh, well, they're at work, so then I can go pick the kids up from school or something like that. And then
Hmm.
there's all kinds of things that can happen. So like always best to have good training for the phones, right? Because that's a very easy one. So
Yes.
then we were talking about scanning the badges and like RFID
Hmm.
um is pretty easy to take. All you
Yeah.
have to do is really bump into a person, right? And
Hmm.
there's all kinds of ways to get close enough to a person to read their RFID tag and clone it. Just copy their RFID tag. There's all kinds of devices that can do this. They're very cheap. You can find them on the internet. I don't want to talk about the
Hmm.
specific name of the device, though there's one that's very popular that
Uh-huh.
would be easy enough to find, and it's only about $30. Uses Raspberry Pi.
Oh
But
my
don't do it
God.
because that would be, you know,
Yeah.
I, there's cursed information, dark
Yes.
information that if you know it makes you feel very not secure. We've talked about this
Mhm.
before, where I'm like, nobody's really secure in the world. Like we
Right.
all just think we are, right? So like,
Hmm.
I showed you all those videos of people breaking locks,
Yes.
right? I just your door lock to your house, the lock at your work locker, gym locker, or whatever,
Hmm.
the fucking bike chain that you have, that none of these are secure. None of them. Not a
Right.
single one. If you have any type of lock, it's easily breakable. I mean, easily breakable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I showed you those videos of a master lock and you just clack it with another master lock and they both open.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very weak. Most
Yeah.
locks are very weak, and even ones that are really good can generally be shimmed or just kind of like. The more you know about this, the less comfortable you'll feel about things being secure,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
it's very much the same way for security at your office. Well, you've talked to me. I don't want to say
Hmm.
out loud what the things were that you told me because that's a
Yeah.
security thing in
Yes.
itself, and you shouldn't have probably told me, but whatever. But there was a couple things
Hmm.
that I lose my mind on whenever I hear
Yeah.
them because I just like my life is noticing that shit, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I the one in particular makes me so angry, and it's one that everybody does,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So like if you go into an office and you need to get on a computer, you want to find the oldest lady that you can find. Seriously, this is just a pro tip. If you're ever
Hmm.
trying to just break into a network, this is what you do. Find the oldest lady that works at one of these places, right?
Uh-huh.
Go to her computer and look under her keyboard.
Yeah.
And if it's not there, then check on the monitor,
Hmm.
generally on a post-it note, or turn the monitor around and see if they stuck it back there because they're super clever and no one will check behind the monitor. You can also check underneath their desk. Sometimes people do it there, but almost exclusively it'll be on a post-it note stuck underneath the keyboard.
Yeah.
That's like the number one place for people to hide things. Keyboards weigh like less than half a pound.
Hmm.
It's not safe. You might as well just roten it, roten it, written
Rooting
it,
it.
roten it. This is how angry I'm getting. I just lost all fucking concept of yeah. Anyway, so you might as well just carve it on your desk
Right.
at that point. Also, passwords are bad. People always pick bad passwords. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Their passwords are garbage. You could generally guess a password.
Hmm.
Um, really, 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 really soft security for a lot of these people, right?
Yeah.
Also, this is like an old phone freaking trick. A lot of people who use landlines, back in the day, there's like that on the side of your house, they used to have like the phone line box.
Phone line box.
Yeah, like all the phone lines for like an apartment complex would go into this
Oh,
big
yeah.
metal
Yeah, yeah.
box on the side of people's houses.
Hmm.
Well, you used to be able to just pop those open, right? Like it would, like literally with nothing, like a nail file, just go pop, right?
Uh-huh.
Just pop a screwdriver, just pop it right open.
Hmm.
And then you could literally like just unplug wires and plug wires in. So there's like on these old is it RJ45? I think RJ45 cables, they have 4 colors of cable for like a phone line, right?
Hmm.
And so it'd be Generally red and blue, red and green, and then black and yellow or whatever. So you just connect two of the wires, and then you could just hear everything anyone on that line,
Oh, wow.
whatever they say. So like
Uh-huh.
you just have a receiver that has a. It'd be like having another phone in the apartment.
Hmm.
It's so insecure. It was so stupid that you could just do that, right? Back at touchtone phones were a
Hmm.
whole nother thing. You remember the Captain Crunch whistle? You ever heard about that? I told you about that.
I think you told me about it. It was like the tone
Yeah,
matched.
the tones were similar to what was on a phone, and they would detect the same way. So like you
Yeah.
could use phone freaking using a Captain Crunch whistle as like a toy in a cereal box. So then, like in the next generation, there's a thing called war driving. You know what war driving is?
No.
War driving is where you go around and you drive, and you have a any type of device that can pick up open networks by just scanning Wi-Fi. So you
Hmm.
just drive around in like a van or your car or whatever, and just stop every like block or so, and just do a Wi-Fi scan and see if any of them say fucking admin
Oh, yeah.
as the administrator name, or like Cisco or whatever, because that means
Hmm.
that the person who plugged it in didn't configure it with like new passwords
Right.
and usernames. So generally you could just get right into those. There was like this stuff called air snort and packet sniff, where these programs that would just eat up a bunch of internet traffic that it couldn't quite understand, but then over time would start to brute force what each of the packets meant. So you could, in a Wi-Fi signal, it broadcasts stuff everywhere,
Hmm.
and people just, you know, you tend to disregard things that are not for you,
Yeah.
but they go everywhere. So if you
Hmm.
sat out on the road in front of a person's house, you could capture all the packets. And while you couldn't decipher them right away, you could run them through this program that would then slowly decrypt them over time until it finally had enough information to just understand what was being sent. Now you have all of their internet traffic, and you can now get on their network.
Wow.
Yeah. You can do this from long distances using a thing called a coffee can, which is literally either a coffee can, though I find Pringles cans work better because they're longer.
Hmm.
And you could literally put a NIC card inside and then point it at a Wi-Fi signal from long distances, like hundreds of yards, right?
Uh-huh.
And so from clear across, like 2-3 blocks away, point it at someone's Wi-Fi and just hop right on their network from there.
Oh my
Uh, yeah.
God.
Businesses, banks are should be better about this, but they're not.
Uh-huh.
All of them. You're
Hmm.
not secure, is what I'm saying. Like you think you are, but you're
Uh-huh.
not. And there's a lot of things that seem innocuous, like getting a free coffee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or someone standing too close to you in line when you're ordering a pizza,
Hmm.
right? Or
Yeah.
if you throw away a receipt, right? Like
Hmm.
just throwing a receipt away and it not going in the trash can, but you're busy, so you don't pick it up.
Hmm.
I mean, credit cards that get sent to your house that you haven't applied for or whatever,
Yeah.
you need to shred those.
Yeah.
Shredders are important. There's a lot of stuff, guys.
Hmm.
You're not secure. Think about this. Just watch a video on YouTube about how social engineering works and just train yourself up, because we're in a time right now where AI is going to get really good
Yeah.
at being at scamming people.
Yeah.
And you need to have some real baseline shit, right?
Hmm.
This is not something, you know how we always laugh at like older people because they don't understand the internet?
Yeah.
We're getting to that point where
Yeah. We're
our
gonna.
generation doesn't quite understand exactly what the new internet's about.
Hmm.
And so we frequently get tricked by it. There are these phone scams now where they'll call you and ask you a bunch of stuff. And if you answer it, all they're doing is recording your voice
Hmm.
and getting you to say a bunch of vowel sounds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then once they get all of them, then they can run it through an AI program and it makes your voice say whatever they want.
Oof.
And then they call your family and tell them, oh, you're in jail, or oh, you've been arrested and you need to pay for bail. Do you have a credit card number to pay for bail? And they'll be real authentic sounding.
Yeah.
It'll have your voice. Sketchy shit.
Oof. Yeah.
There are commercials on YouTube right now that are fully AI people
Hmm.
with dubbed voices made from AI,
Yeah.
and they sound pretty good. So
Yeah.
everybody needs to get real skeptical real quick,
Hmm.
or we're all gonna be getting picked up, just like those old people that, you know, oh, your kids and your grandkids in trouble, so I gotta buy a bunch of iPhone gift cards or something. You know?
Yeah.
Don't be like that. Just go watch a few videos on this stuff. Keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Boy, I could terrify you guys with some of this shit. Literally, you would be horrified.
Oh no.
Do you remember that old company? There was a company called LifeLock.
LifeLock.
There was an old company called LifeLock, and they had an ad where they'd put a social security number on the side of this truck, and they drive it around, and they put it in all of its commercials with the social security number on it. And they were a security company who told you can't hack this, and if you do hack and steal this account or whatever, then we'll give you $1 million.
What?
Right? They were hacked in like fucking a week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then they had to take down that commercial. You don't see that commercial anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whose
I think
social
they also
security number was it?
it was just a fake social security number.
Oh, okay.
They were trying to make a point, but it didn't do a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also they were in court because they didn't want to pay out, but they ended up having to. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Be careful, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, you want to go to this week's episode?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Return to Ravenloft, Season 3, Episode 45, the finale of Return to Ravenloft, by the way.
Hey.
The king is undead. Long live the king.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everybody leave your social security number in the comments. Oh my god. There are going to be a lot of people getting hacked in the next year.
Send us your credit card number to see if you qualify.
Give me a retinal scan and a thumbprint.
Well, why don't we deal with one problem at a time? We haven't heard anything about Strahd being back. So we'll just fix this land and fix the collapse of the mirrorverses and then kill Strahd again.
Okay.
If you
Make it sound easier than it sounds.
you just have to put it in a list.
Oh god, she's the Mary Kondo of vampires. Does it spark daylight?
Oh,
I think
all right.
if you hear anything about it, about Strahd returning, tell us. Because there could be something that we can do, you know?
Victor found in his journals he'd been killed before. Chandra almost did it from one of the entries way back. But he's the first. Without him, all the rest of the realms will collapse, from what the journals said.
Well, if we hear about him causing trouble, we'll just have to
Go nip it in the bud.
We'll just have to sort of kill him again.
Okay. I always wanted to daylight him. Now that I can daylight.
You can daylight?
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, I did it to the vampires back in the other world.
Thanks.
Eat sunshine, assholes.
I wouldn't say that. That's not how you should say it. You're
That's what worked.
maybe work on the phrasing.
All right.
Okay.
Eat sunshine, dig it.
No.
He's just sitting there snickering.
I just wanted to check on you to make sure you're okay after the
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Uh, Kaeviir wants everyone to write down what they saw, anything that you
Okay.
smelled, felt, anything like that during the missions too. Just write those down and um, probably just slip it under the door to the lab. He's in the middle of something right now.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Let me know if you need anything.
He gives you a nod and pulls out a pad of paper from Victor's desk and begins to start writing.
All right.
I like the idea that you guys are like walking past the lab, like waiting to have the door open. It's just like you heard drill noises, like a bucket explosion, smoke coming out from under the door. The hell, the hell
Oh,
was going on in there? It's like
Occasional,
slime.
occasional curse word.
Shit.
All right. Well, Adrie's talked to a couple people, so maybe we should
yeah.
go to Rain.
All right.
Huh. Well, let's see. I would imagine we're probably up on deck comparing notes with one another. So how are you sure that you were seeing yourself through my eyes? I don't know how exactly to explain it. I'm just telling you what I think I saw, which was me looking at me looking through you. This is I've never had to deal with this before. I don't know exactly what the hell's going on. I'm doing my best, but I don't know. So let me get this straight. You were on a dragon and you were what, gloating over some sort of city getting burned to the ground? That was that sounds dark, although I guess maybe not as dark as me setting a whole bunch of ships on fire with lightning. That doesn't sound like something I would do, but this sorry, you're gonna have to give me a moment. This is my first time having a out of body experience or whatever the hell you'd want to call this. No, don't feel bad. This is my second time. This whole mirror traveling business thing is it's confusing. I am just gonna usually just smile and nod as if I understand what's going on most of the time. I figure I'm under contract. I would imagine that means I'm an asset worth not getting killed. I'll just defer to the professional, as it were. But I don't know. This whole business of worlds being destroyed and I don't know. I don't know how well that sits with me, to be honest with you. I mean, to know there are other versions of me out there, some of them good, bad. I don't know. That's kind of a whole gray area thing to me at this point as to whether or not these are more evil or less evil, or I'm trying not to think about it too hard. But I don't know. Does it feel weird to you to know that there's another version of you out there that just gets snuffed out like that? Uh, yeah, it is a little disconcerting. Even more disconcerting, however, is the fact that at some point in time, that could be one of us. I now have a slightly more, slightly more interest in what's going on here, knowing that me and everyone that I care about back home is suddenly in danger. So I'd say whatever we can do from our side of the mirror, anyway. And I'm down to help. I don't know what I can do. I know Miss Adrie, when she's not stealing my mail, she's pretty good with these numbers and things that your Kaeviir seems to be equally as good with. So
She can do both.
where did that come from? Um, I we'll lend our talents where we can lend them. Let's just put it that way. I haven't known you very long, but you seem like you got a good head on your shoulders. You seem like you're one of the good versions of us. Uh, I'd hate to see anything happen to you or your friends any more than I'd hate to see something happen to me and mine. So, uh, I'll keep this journal on me. I guess if this happens again, I'll send back over notes through the mirror. That sounds like a good plan. We can do that. Yeah, let's see what we can do to help. I'm I'm not good with these numbers. I'm not good with this whole mystical, magical, whatever the hell this is, but I can fly a ship, so I'm going to do that as best I can. And I imagine conversation will continue on down the line of, comparing the notes between the two. I think the thing that's probably going to sit with Ravenloft Rain the most is the fact that it's a little unnerving to him that that DH Rain saw through him. He may not necessarily understand exactly what's going on, but he knows enough to know that that hits really close to home. Like the separation was basically, that thin, basically sitting right in front of him. Um, the the idea that there's that little distance,
Nate,
it
you're speaking my fucking language, dude. Right now,
yeah,
you're saying like what you're saying right now is so. Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Sorry.
no.
You'll see what I mean in a minute. You're so on it right
yeah,
now.
I mean, so I'm really, and it's very difficult because DH Rain has an intelligence of 11. He's not really going to understand a whole lot about what the hell's going on, but he knows when he feels threatened and he doesn't like to be threatened. And so whatever he does is going to be to make sure that he's not, and that those that he cares about, that he associates with are not as well. As a player, I'm definitely have a higher intelligence score than 11, and the whole discussion about chirality and everything as a chemist is just like, I can't I can't interject what I think is going on into what Rain thinks is going on,
You
because
just
those
did.
are two different well, to a degree, yeah, but I mean, it's on a much more simpler
I'm
level.
having a fucking hard nerd out right now with the fact that you were talking about proximity.
Well, I mean, the fact that one of these visions took place with someone who is in the same place as he is right now,
Right.
even if he doesn't understand that, he can sense the gravity of what that means.
Boy, you are a fucking nerd, man. Let me tell you.
I gotta lie, that was one of my favorite ones to write.
I literally just messaged D-Walk a thing.
Yeah.
When you're gonna like it. As a scientist, you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's going to weigh heavy on Ravenloft Rain. I want to keep calling him Ravenloft, but that's too much of a stretch.
Let it Ravenloft.
Yeah,
Ravenloft.
Well, we had Kaeviir. Why can't we have Ravenloft?
Well, I mean, I guess
think
we can.
People that listen should be able to look. I thought Fringe did it this perfect when they had the alternate Walter and someone called him Walternate.
And Folivia.
And they saw Walternate and Folivia, and then they added those into the show and started calling them by that in the show. And I was like, perfect. That's exactly how you do it. Let the people decide what they want to call it. If we don't hear a name soon, then we'll just call it what we want. But oh, actually, we might. Oh, because we're
having this conversation months in advance.
Yeah. All right, well, fuck y'all. I'm gonna come up with a name for him.
But yeah, no, I mean, going back to Ring, like I said, he's not going to understand all the nuts and bolts of what's going on. But again, that's a it's a connection thing. It's like, my God, I know that this version of Rain is from a different, plane of existence or whatever, and came through a mirror, and that's all, hand wavy, woo woo shit to him until that moment when it's like, oh crap, my doppelganger just saw himself through my eyes. That squeezes that indeterminable distance between them to nothing, and it's going to be impactful on him going forward. So anyway, that's
so much.
that's
Fuck David
that's what I
Duchovny.
got.
I should have been in the fucking X Files. No, I love David Duchovny. I don't know why I'm saying that. Sorry. Californication was great. If you're listening, I loved that show.
We apologize in advance or in the past, depending upon when you listen to this episode, Mr.
To David
Duchovny.
Duchovny in particular.
Yes.
Yeah, for once, you guys see Victor and Hawk just sitting there dumbfounded.
Yeah, Adrie's just gonna go around and make sure everybody on the ship is okay. We don't have to like roleplay every conversation for it, but
Yeah.
that's what she's planning to do for this next hour, is just check on everybody
Okay.
else.
The door kicks open to the lab. Everyone!
Great Scott! I've learned how to think fourth dimensionally, Marty.
Oh my god.
I guess
Everybody fills in.
we'll head downstairs.
Yeah, Victor and Hawks kind of stay at the door and look in.
Okay. I know it's a mess in here. Like, there is paper streamed everywhere. My violin has been destroyed. It is ripped apart.
I don't know that I've seen you this disheveled before.
I'm in the process of a thing.
Okay.
Dragon
Okay.
Knight Stagey nods very knowingly.
I'm going to give you the harp, and I'm going to take 2 small, really shittily put together wooden frames with the strings of a violin stretched between one end and the other, and I'm going to put 2 of them on the table. They're about maybe a foot tall.
You made musical instruments.
Craftsmanship is certainly something.
I had an hour.
That's fine.
So I would show you this, and I'm going to like point to the walls, which have like ink and writing everywhere. But I don't think that's going to do a very funny. I can see that comment. That's not. I'm going to take 2. As you can see, I would show you all this stuff. Probably not going to work. Probably not going to follow all of this. So let me explain my thinking. Okay. We know that this is some force, and our theory is that it creates, like a drop of water in a pool, waves outward. So how do we determine whether or not those waves are unique to us or if they are tangible waves? We have to have some sort of measuring device. These will be that measuring device. Not these specific ones, but this is a model of what we need. More strings at different frequencies, thinning out like a harp towards a point, so that they operate at different tones, different lengths of string. You understand how harps work. I don't need to go over that, do I?
No.
Okay. When the event happens, we will feel it. But is the outside world affected by it as well? Is it a tangible effect, or is it simply a cosmic internal effect? We have yet to notice. And the only way we will notice is if we have some sort of device that will let us know. So these waves are relatively powerful. The closer they are to us, the more they should disrupt gravity. Gravity, hold you to the earth stuff. Okay. That will create a ripple, which should sonically be picked up on these vibrating ribbons, these chords, these violin strings. If we hear a sound, then we know that these effects are tangible.
Yes.
And the question is, if it's warping gravity, stretching it, then the reference frame for the strings will be out of whack and that won't work. But it's a good opening theory, a salvo. If the waves pass through quickly, then the distortion should still pick up on. Is this making sense to anyone?
Yeah.
No, but if I follow you, basically what you're saying is that you expect or you hope or you think that every time one of these events occurs, that if it's somehow affecting things not just in our head, that one of these harps on your table here are going to play music.
Maybe not the best music, but a sound. And here is sort of my problem. We don't know how intense the effect is. If the effect is warping everything, then the internal reference frame of the strings will not be capable of being removed from that, and that the pulling of the strings and reduction of the strings will be as though they had not moved within their reference frame, but from outside the reference frame they would have moved, so maybe they won't make any sound at all. The question is, this answers a lot of questions for us. If it doesn't make a sound, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not physically, tangibly affecting the outside world, but it means that it's affecting it in a way that distorts it. Okay.
Mhm.
What about light? Light would work.
But light
Mirrors.
doesn't make sound.
No, it doesn't make sound. But mirrors, and I'm going to sit and kind of like zone out for a minute. This might be too large.
You want light?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Where's the other one?
She's right there.
Oh, sorry. Here, okay. One light source in two directions at a different distance.
Mhm.
We measure the travel of the light and we measure the return of the light.
Okay.
Huh.
You need
We need a tremendously accurate, I don't think. What if we slowed time?
well,
It'd be more apparent if we slowed time. Can we slow time? Can anyone here slow time?
no.
Damn. Boy, that would really make this easier.
You hear from outside, the younger Victor. Not yet.
God, don't let him slow time. He'll just use it to get into trouble.
I might need more than an hour. In the meantime, let's hope the harps work.
If only we could slow time so you could have more than an hour.
Just talking to you all makes time slow down.
I have a question for so I think I'm following along with myself over here. So if these harps that you're going to build make music every time one of these events happens, that's fine, but doesn't that mean that somebody's going to have to be standing near one of them at all times? Because I didn't get any sort of advance notice that that was going to happen. How are you going to know when it's going to occur until it's already occurring? Are you going to have to carry a harp around with you everywhere you go?
The
Oh,
harp
no.
should vibrate for an extended period of time.
So you're thinking that wherever you are, you're just going to run down here and hope they're still playing.
No,
Couldn't we
no.
maybe Giant High Stager will speak up. She'll go, what if we summoned an elemental or something to monitor it?
To monitor the harp?
The harp. Yeah. If we need someone to monitor it. I mean, elementals. I mean, wizards do that all the time, don't they? They summon elementals or fae or imps or
Targalus.
whatever.
Yes, master.
Perfect sentry. We put him out in a
Nobody
remote
said the password to come in the lab.
Password.
pineapple. They're good.
Yes, sir. You need me to watch something else?
We're still devising what it is.
Understood.
But what if we were to set you up in some remote tower and you were to observe something and contact us if it made a sound?
I'd get my tower back.
It'd have to be exceptionally remote.
That's
Any
okay. I don't
outside.
like people. I tolerate everyone.
Did you have any moment of slippage just recently where you saw something that
Other versions of myself?
mm,
Yes. Very unsettling.
maybe it would have to be something summoned, something that wouldn't
A
exist?
construct,
A construct.
right? If we create a construct, then would there be a construct in a mirror world?
Now we're getting into determination, and that's complicated.
I've always wanted to make a construct.
I have another question.
Mhm.
Assuming that what we heard is universal, for lack of a better way of putting it, whatever happened here should have happened back where we came from as well, right? Like if we were there, we would have felt it as too. I don't know. Is it
It depends.
necessarily inherent to just being here, or does it happen to everyone everywhere? Because if that's the case, might I suggest we take one of the hops back with us? And whether we build a construct or if you need a captive audience to be able to take a look at it and listen for it, we do have Elle back home.
That is an interesting, and this solves answers a bunch of questions. Another
Hey,
thing,
Hawks, you should meet Elle. Hawks want to meet Elle. Who's Elle?
what's another thing that's interesting here is like just ignore him.
Just completely ignored.
Adrie, Dragonite Adrie just puts her hand over Victor's mouth.
Another interesting thing here.
Mm-hmm.
You had felt it over there
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah,
We felt it over here. So we know that it is not one-sided.
right.
The question is, like a drop in the water, did the waves travel a distance but then eventually settle? That would help us to know if we could get a map, a geometry of how these shards exist in relation to each other, sort of in what direction it's coming from based on when people are affected.
Mhm.
So if these are like stacks of paper, you're saying that if we have a hop on our side and you have a hop on your side, depending upon which sheet of paper gets yanked out of the stack,
We would
our
know where
harp
the
might be
waves were coming
louder
from.
than yours, or yours might be louder than ours.
Mhm.
Absolutely. If
Hmm.
the harp plays, and that's an internal reference frame issue that we're going to have the problem. But whatever detection device we come up with, by having them in two locations separated by indeterminate space, we would then know, once we've built a structure of shards and what direction or how they're arranged, would know the placement of the person destroying a universe. We would know their location based on the radiant pattern from that location.
Mm.
Like a beacon.
Yeah. We just hope the next one isn't your world or our world.
Well, we don't want to, ideally, we would not want to wait for another world to be destroyed, but
Yeah.
in the event that we have no way to stop it or way to find it and stop it,
Mhm.
this will give us a leg up on the next one. It's not a solution by any measure, but it is diagnostic. It's a tool.
Right.
What I got to thinking, the drop of water in a pool, radiating from one central location and moving outward. If two people that were positioned in different locations were in the same spot when the drop hit, what would that mean? Maybe sensory overlay. And I'm going to look at Rain.
I suppose it's possible. This is not my area of expertise.
It's nobody's area of expertise. This is new. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. But we need to start testing. We need to start trying things and trying to determine how best to understand what we're finding. And no more messing with the cannons. We need that box worked on now. Every moment that we wait, we risk another universe being blipped.
All right.
So work fast.
All right. Cannon smells like vomit anyway, so.
Brendan. Please clean the vomit out of the cannon. There's a Mr. Clean wipes under my desk.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, Brendan, please clean the cannon. There's some Mr. Clean wipes under my desk.
Bridges, I already got the deck all done. Oh, get on the cannon now.
Thank you.
Gives you a giant Q-tip.
Okay. Careful where you're standing. I'm going to walk over to DH Rain. I'm going to take like a couple steps towards the center of the room. This is a plague that would kill pretty much everyone for, I don't know, 150 miles probably.
You mentioned that before, and
I had to disassemble the shelf to make the wood for the harp. What's it going to do? So just don't kick that over or knock it over. Or anything.
Just everybody's just back away from the bottle of death.
Bottle of what? You hear from the outside?
No. Dragonite Stage physically turns Victor around and just shoves him out of the lab.
Oh, what? That's my vampire bag. Hold on. I'm going to drag this like, it's kind of like a puffy, like almost like a balloon.
Do you have vampires in here?
A vampire, Noel, stole it from a group of dorks that I met. And it's in this bag.
Vampire Noel.
Yeah.
Wasn't aware we had that amongst our inventory.
There's a lot of great things in here. I have sand that will poison anything that's aquatic.
I think you and I have a very different definition of the word great.
Greatly dangerous, greatly destructive. Great is an amplifier. It doesn't have a positive connotation or a negative connotation. It's a linking word.
Fair enough.
It's just like, I think that room's more dangerous than the off limits room at the academy.
I've also got lots of masks.
I don't know. Sure, I can't go back in the lab.
I'm so certain. You cannot come back here.
Yes, Victor, you should not go in the lab, but here is a detailed inventory of all the cool shit in here that you're not allowed to see. That's probably not the best of approaches.
I've got an eye bubble that'll nuke him if he takes a step in here. So we're
all right. Dragon Heist Adrie will get back to examining the cube.
All right.
Does anyone feel dizzy,
Felt sick.
nauseous,
Mhm.
an inner ear disruption,
Hmm.
off balance?
I
I don't
fell.
know.
Did you fall because you were sick and you lost muscle control, or did you lose equilibrium and fall?
I think. Hmm.
Well, we'll make a note of it for next time.
All right.
I'm just gonna lay down on the floor.
You guys hear kind of a thud on the deck above, and then Brennan hollers down through one of the pipes. You have company.
Captain,
I'm on it. I will make my way upstairs, back to the deck.
sorry. By the way, when you said I'm on it, I was like, I'm in.
I make my way to the deck. What do I see when I get there?
Dr. Midnight.
Oh, it's you.
Dr. Midnight welcomes you, Rain. Captain.
I don't know that you can welcome somewhere to a place that you haven't just arrived yourself at, but okay. I assume you're here to speak with Kaeviir.
Dr. Midnight would like to speak to all of you.
All right. Doesn't sound ominous at all. I will go over to the tube. Midnight's here. I think he'd like to speak to all of us. Probably it'd be worth everyone coming upstairs,
I was
if you
like,
don't mind.
midnight. I was like, I only took an hour. Like, can't slow time, but we can speed it up, apparently. On the way.
All right.
Victor, they have a Dr. Midnight too?
Well, it stands to reason they have one of everything else around here, so why should we be surprised at this point?
Is
I
he as
heard,
creepy here as he is at home?
yeah, the one here buys children and then he forces them to work in his mines.
That's not true.
What the heck is wrong with you?
That's what I heard.
He has them crack rocks outside of the mine. The
Oh.
mine is where he keeps the mothers. They birth them there and they move them out to break the rocks outside.
I'm gonna go upstairs and leave you sickos to whatever just
I,
turns around and
I'm
walks
coming
away.
with you. I'm coming with you, Rain. This is, no.
Don't let
Ah.
him see your hands, Victor. They're perfect for breaking open rocks.
Or just eat
You
him.
got a box to play with and quit tormenting me?
Everybody out except for you. You stay in here.
Yep.
All right.
Careful with things. Don't knock anything over. All right. We'll head upstairs, but I'm making sure everyone's out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold my hand out to Cargillus, like fist bump one of his eye stalks.
It closes and fist bumps you. Or eye bumps you.
Stalk bump.
Hey, this is Cargillus and my new podcast, Stock Talk. Keeping an eye
topic
on all
today-
the news stories that you're interested in.
Yeah. Our topic today, scorch rays. What's up with those?
What's the deal with airline food?
You guys reach the top and you find Midnight standing there.
Doctor?
Dr. Midnight welcomes Kaeviir.
Hi, Dr. Midnight.
Dr. Midnight welcomes Adrie. Dr. Midnight sees a second Rain.
There's a
Second,
chance of rain. 100% chance of rain. Episode title.
I kind of looked down at Victor like, "Nah, I think this version's creepier."
Uh, I'm 100% sure this version's dead.
How can I help you, Mr. Midnight? Oh, pardon, Dr. Midnight.
Dr. Midnight apologizes. He cannot do it.
Cannot do.
Dr. Midnight and Lord Soth had a plan to bring back Strahd to get the blood. Dr. Midnight could not plunge Barovia into darkness just
We
to
ha-
save Darkon.
we have the blood.
Dr. Midnight applauds your success.
Dr. Midnight's going to need to sit down and talk with us for a little bit.
Dr. Midnight was hoping you had success.
Hey, I am a consummate professional. And these two were in the periphery when it occurred. So, some mild praise for them as well. Mild. Just nods would be fine.
I just feel like that's the version of "and I help."
A nice plaque.
Steak and Quake. And I helped. Get it? Never mind.
Dr. Midnight left a very seething Lord Soth behind in Barovia who's making his way over it on horseback.
Why is he upset?
Dr. Midnight would not rise, go to the Amber Temple and bring Strahd back with the help of Soak.
Oh, no. Thought about him in a minute.
Dr. Midnight thinks you shouldn't have to worry about Soak too much.
Why?
Dr. Midnight thinks he has power, but not enough to pull it off, which is why he needed Dr. Midnight and Lord Soth.
Is this going to be a third person thing forever? It's not like a just a thing, or I don't know. It's it's not off putting or anything. It's just strange.
His voice shifts slightly, and you're probably right. I'm
Dr.
going to have to leave Midnight behind if I'm going to take the mantle back. I assume you got my letter,
I had.
as you asked.
What's the plan? If you were to receive the blood, you would retake the crown.
Curse I don't welcome, but I cannot let this kingdom fall apart completely. That's too many innocents.
It's pretty
And when I left it
responsible.
behind, I swore I wouldn't let that many die again.
Is there a way to make this place not quite as terrible?
Not with the dark powers in play. It's their own playground. I'm not excited to figure out what curse is going to be branded on me as Dark Lord. Aslan couldn't learn any new magic when he was here. Strahd seems to be unable to get the woman he loves, whether or not she loves him back. She always seems to escape his grasp. Soth is haunted by dreams and banshees of the life that he lost, the failures in his life, his wife, his child, all of it.
So we give you this blood, you crown yourself, and everything's fine.
It'll be no, because the land is in ruins. It needs At least the ground will stop shaking, the quakes will stop, and the realm will balance itself. The borders will be under control and stop crumbling upon themselves. I can guarantee I'm not going to rule as I did the first time.
Everyone says that.
I know a few that have gone around killing Dark Lords before that'll make sure the task gets done.
Not the powers.
What about the Dark Powers?
It seems to me that a lot of this stems from them.
It does. They're the ones who keep us here. They're the ones who separated Adrie and Chunicote after you passed. That sent them flying across the realm, and her into Darkon and him into Sithicus. They're the ones who brought Strahd. They're the ones who gave Soth a realm.
Is
They're
there
the
no
ones who
way to
brought me
remove
here.
them?
Not that I know of. Don't think I haven't tried.
They're like gods almost, aren't they?
They're pretty much, as far as I can tell, deity levels of this world.
What's that mean? Gods aren't accountable?
Not saying they're not accountable. I just don't know anyone strong enough to get to them. It's not like they reside in one place here. If they do, no one's been able to find it.
That's the task for another day, I suppose. Right now, I would stop the bleeding. Pardon the pun. Holding a fucking wineskin of blood in my hand.
We can't find Aslan and make him come back.
It's possible.
Assuming
Do you
he's
really?
somewhere.
But is
Yeah, but do you
Aslan
really want Aslan back in power?
I don't want to doom anyone to this.
except for Aslan? Apparently, you're fine with that.
He was here before.
So is he.
I just feel it feels like we're
It's
just
a temperamental leader.
dooming
The crown is heavy on whoever's going to wear it. Would you rather have a tempered spirit running things or someone who has proven that they are a flight risk and be a madman?
We don't know how the curse will change someone who takes up the title of the Dark Lord.
It's a battle of inches for sure, but a sane man who goes crazy is surely preferable to a crazy man who's driven even deeper into the pit of madness. I mean, who knows? Rex might, be upset at people who knit and decide they should all be killed, and that would be bad. But maybe Aslan would think everyone deserves to be killed. We're trying to minimize damage here. There's no good options. And until we can remove the dark powers from their hold over this area, there's not really a whole lot we can do. We're mitigating at best. Two bad options.
Yeah.
One's clearly worse.
Yeah.
The fact that this man tells us that he's willing to sacrifice himself and deal with a curse in order to keep things from crumbling. I don't know. It feels like a better sign than forcing someone who already escaped that duty to wield it again.
Yeah.
I'm blinking in Morse code to Adrie to incite Dr.
I will incite Dr. Midnight.
I would do it, but I'm shitty as hell at this. I can't tell if this guy's
Let's see. That's a 21. However,
Help action.
that's a 31.
Ah, Kaeviir, the guy who makes the party better just by being there.
You sense truth coming from him.
Okay. I will sort of nod slightly
I'm sorry.
to Kaeviir.
I hate to ask another person to roll a check. It's not like something, but I'm just sitting here like, somebody please insight. Adrie with the big brain, get him. Are you sure you're ready for this?
I've sat on the throne once. I can do it again.
I'm gonna hand the blood to Adrie. It's your decision. I trust that you'll make it well.
Adrie will look at Dr. Midnight and she'll say, "This is a temporary bandage."
I hope so.
We're not going to leave you like this.
I appreciate it. Maybe I'll keep the midnight persona. It's a lighter.
Dr. Midnight with the zombie face.
He pulls off his hat and sets it down and then takes off his plague mask, and you guys see his actual lich face half falling apart for the first time.
That's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's
Victor's like, holy shit.
Sure am glad I threw up everything earlier because it'd be coming up now.
Guys.
he knows.
I do. It's why I wear the mask.
He knows he hasn't one.
I could literally put my finger into his brain. Like
Thank you for doing this for now. And
May I speak to you alone, Adrie, before we start?
yeah, of course. Well,
he
I
goes,
guess walk aside with them.
Yeah. He reaches into his coat and he pulls off an amulet. And he hands it to her.
What is this?
My phylactery.
Oh. Okay. I'll
You
keep it
hold it.
safe. Okay.
Your assurance.
All right.
Don't let the kid touch it.
No, no, he seems like a young Victor.
But he doesn't have the darkness in him that yours did. He doesn't struggle with it. He knew love growing up from the beginning. Partially from the other you. Majorly.
Well,
You'll see yours again.
yeah. We'll see
I
you
saw the
again.
future where he took it. It was bad.
Well, that's not going to happen. And you're not going to be stuck like this. So we'll you know, we'll figure something out. Or we'll, you know.
Yeah. Plus, I have a whole castle of undead to turn. Last I heard, that castle was ruined. Last I saw.
Yeah, it's a mess right now. Can I ask you something
Mm-hmm.
while you're there? If you see a revenant, will you let me know?
What would you like me to do with this revenant?
I don't know. Just let me know if you find
I
him.
can imprison him. I can make his life a living hell.
No.
Okay. Just keep an eye for him.
Yeah.
I'll have control of the Kagrat. I'll have eyes
Maybe
everywhere.
you could tell them to not attack Kestrel on sight.
Be my second decree.
Thank you.
First one is to kill the Baron,
Oh.
the vampire that's running it.
Would this? Sorry, I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
whisper from across the deck. Would you, if you were to take power, be in charge of the shadow dragons? They be your minions. In exchange for the blood, one small concession, one small agreement. Can they owe me a favor?
How would they owe you a favor?
I helped our master.
I will let Ebb know who I am, and Ebb should calm down.
But the favor is that's like a say yes.
For you, Kaeviir. Only for you.
All right, that's it. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Probably gotta get this moving before part of my job decides to fall again.
Oh.
The mask keeps the jaw in place.
Right. Of course. Okay. Well, you look at the wineskin of vampire dreadlord blood that she's holding and kind of hold it out to Midnight.
He takes it.
Sorry we didn't have a better container. It was just last minute.
Somebody must crown me with it.
Oh, okay.
Adrie.
Me? Do I say
Wow.
anything?
To save the land from the final shadow.
All right.
Do
A new evil must be crowned in the blood of the first.
you want me to write this down?
No.
Okay, I'm just you know. We don't have
She'll
a lot of opportunities to use it if it doesn't work, then because you get the words like if you flub a word.
I'm not going to flub a word.
I'm just saying if we like because we can't get another jug of fucking vampire dreadlord blood. It's not like at the fucking market. It's not a fucking yoo-hoo.
All right. Adri will, I guess, dip her fingers into the blood. And then like trace a little sign on Midnight's forehead.
Simba. sorry. Sorry.
It's
She's just winging this. And then she will speak the words of the prophecy that she's heard so many times before. And then she'll look at Midnight like, is that it?
It's kind of the sound goes away for a second. A second feels longer than it should have, and lightning begins to strike different places. The blood actually soaks into Midnight's skull through the flesh. You feel the power begin to evolate from him, kind of like waves. Your harps are all going off for the moment.
Look at Rain. I'm like, see.
Um, and then it all kind of slows down and just calms itself. His eyes are glowing red now. He picks up his mask again and puts it back on. You can see the red glow from underneath the mask through the eye sockets, and he puts his hat on.
How do you feel?
He lifts up his. Hmm?
Oh, Adrie's just gonna say, how do you
Oh,
feel?
Dr. Midnight feels. Hmm. Complete's not the right word, but Dr. Midnight feels the powers back. He moves his hand and he begins to twist, and the mists you see in the distance begin to move. I'm opening the borders completely. You guys should have safe travel now.
Thank you.
We won't forget this. And we won't forget what. We won't forget you for doing this.
I know you won't. But if you guys do not do what you need to, this will all be in vain.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
It. He looks at Rain. You have a lot of storms to guide through.
do my best.
Do not fear the golden mask when it comes.
Duly noted.
He goes, looks at Kaeviir. You must stop the chiral.
I will.
Adrie.
Hmm.
You have the faded Darkon in your hands. The amulet.
Okay.
You kill another Dark Lord, the realm's gonna go back to where it was.
She's gonna look at the amulet and then she'll put it on.
He opens the door. I'll deal with Soth when he gets back.
See. Okay.
I may give him what he wants and send him back to Kryn. If the dark powers let me. It might be safer for everyone. Your father found something called Veil of the Blue Dream.
Yeah.
He told me about it. So, time to go find out what my curse is.
Oh.
He steps through his portal and it closes behind him.
Well, that was. Does anyone have a handkerchief? I have Strahd blood on my hand.
Here you go, and just
Thank you.
keep that's fine. I don't
Okay.
need that back.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all we needed? Can we keep the rest of this?
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I'm gonna take it.
There you
All
go.
right, back in a bit. Like shuffle off to the lab.
What does this amulet look like?
It's a silver amulet, woven with black iron with 2 sapphires built into the center of it.
Okay. Well, wonder what kind of changes we'll see.
Plus, the other side, if the amulet's with you, that means no one can get it to his phylactery in here.
Also, though, speaking out of character, doesn't that mean like if he gets killed, he'll basically like reform wherever Adrie is? Because they reform where their phylactery is. So like this really benefits him in all sorts of ways. Because who's gonna look for the phylactery of a lich who's a Dark Lord on the good cleric who's running around helping people?
I was thinking the whole time you were doing that, I was like, hey, can I get an edit here? I was just thinking, like, your mom told you not to drink wine. Not to curse. She didn't say, hey, what if you had like crowned the Dark Lord in
Vampire blood. Yeah.
and then took his phylactery as like an item.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty certain that's worse than wine and cursing.
I think
I don't know how she would decide what's worse, like morality
Yeah.
spectrum, clearly, but like
Mhm.
You think that have a that have a higher bad score attached to it?
I think if it
Well-
were rated on fucking like, you know,
I think
bad reads, evil reads, it would
Adrie's
be
Adrie's mom raised her with sort of the hope of like, I'm going to keep her away from the adventuring life. So the most like horrible temptations she'll face are going to be cursing and drinking wine.
how'd that work out? How'd that work out? Crown and Dark Lords on a sky ship.
Yep.
Been killing it.
Yep.
Killing it out here. How does he leave?
He teleports through a gate. He opens up a gate and he goes through it and it shuts behind him.
Adrie,
Kaeviir.
I don't want to
Can...
call into question any of your decisions.
Uh-huh.
I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
I would like to say,
Mhm.
or ask, I guess is better.
Uh.
Are we keeping this from your mom?
Yeah, I don't want to tell my mom that I
You don't
crowned
think
a
your
Dark Lord
paladin
in the
mom-
blood of another dark. I don't want to
She
do.
gave the power.
It's literally been like 2 hours since she left and I've already done this, so I don't want to I don't want to mention this to her. No.
And now you're carrying the phylactery of that Dark Lord in your bag next to your
I'm actually
dead
wearing
people's
it.
sheets.
I'm actually wearing it. I put it on. It was a
Oh.
necklace, so I just thought it'll be safe if I just wear it and
Right.
put it on under my
Ah.
armor next to my heart. That maybe I
Smart.
shouldn't do that.
Seems like
I don't know.
The picture's like, can I go home now? Holy shit.
Okay, so we're not gonna tell my mom about this. Adrie's gonna look at Rain. Both the Rains. We're not gonna tell my mom about this.
Mom's the word.
Okay. Okay,
Uh,
good. Okay.
Brendan, Always knew she was the Dark Lady.
Oh no, no, Adrie's got one phylactery of a Dark Lord. She has the horse and helmet of another Dark Lord. From downstairs in the lab, you guys will hear Dragon Heist Adrie kind of shout, go, guys?
Looks like we're in business. Coming. Thanks for listening to Freelance Heroism. We really appreciate you coming in and listening. We also really appreciate all the people who support our Patreon. By supporting the Patreon, you're going to get behind the scene uncut clips that you'll get to see sort of like maybe the tissue behind some of the edited, cleaned up content. And you'll get that whenever we have a big block of it to drop, as well as any updates or any information behind the scenes stuff that we think the Patreons would like to know. So if you'd like to support our Patreon and help us continue making the high quality, high octane podcast that you've come to expect, go ahead to patreon.com/freelance_heroism. Thank you. And as usual, the invoice is in the mail. Nate, could you please read the first part? The part I am going to like. Could you just read that out loud? And then you send that to me.
Hang on.
Thank you.
Just let me compose myself. Sorry.
Okay. Let's all give him his time. He needs like to.
A poo-poo brew for just you. A doo-doo goo you knew would stew and pee you for true.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's going to be every ringtone I have from now until the end of my life. Play that next to an ever-burning torch at my funeral. The gas, they say, that lights it came from his very ass and will never burn out.